A Christmas Story, The Gift of the Heart, Extended Version. Introduction. A Christmas of Struggles. Snowflakes danced gently in the air, blanketing the small, humble village nestled in a valley. The cold of winter seeped through the crevices of wooden houses, whispering its icy breath into every corner. Christmas was approaching, but for Lucas and his mother, Elena, it was just another day of survival. Elena, a widowed seamstress, worked tirelessly to make ends meet, sewing garments for villagers in exchange for meager earnings. Lucas, her 10-year-old son, was her only source of joy and strength. Together, they lived in a tiny wooden cottage with a broken roof and a chimney that struggled to keep the house warm. Their only companion was Bruno, a loyal dog with intelligent brown eyes that seemed to understand everything. As Christmas drew nearer, the village was abuzz with preparations, trees being decorated, homes adorned with colorful lights, and the smell of baked goods wafting through the air. But for Lucas and Elena, there were no decorations, no gifts, and no feast to look forward to. Their days were consumed by trying to gather enough firewood to stay warm and searching for food to fill their bellies. A chance encounter in the forest. One frosty morning, Lucas, with Bruno trotting by his side, ventured deep into the snowy forest to gather firewood. The boy's breath formed tiny clouds in the air as he trudged through the thick snow, his fingers numb despite the worn gloves he wore. Bruno suddenly stopped, his ears perked up. He barked softly and darted toward a clearing. Lucas followed and saw an old man struggling to push a wooden cart stuck in the snow. The man wore a tattered coat, and his face, lined with years of hardship, was partially hidden by a long, white beard. "Do you need help, sirs?" Lucas asked, his voice hesitant but kind. The old man turned, his eyes softening at the sight of the boy and the dog. "Ah, a kind soul. Yes, I could use some help, my boy." Without hesitation, Lucas put down his bundle of firewood and, with Bruno's help, began pushing the cart. After a few tries, the wheels finally moved and the cart was free. The old man smiled, a warmth radiating from him despite the freezing cold. "You have a kind heart, boy," he said, placing a hand on Lucas's shoulder. "Not many would stop to help a stranger." Lucas shrugged. "My mom says helping others is the right thing to do. And besides, Bruno wouldn't let me walk away." The old man chuckled and bent down to pat Bruno, who wagged his tail enthusiastically. From his cart, the man retrieved a small, neatly wrapped box and handed it to Lucas. "Take this, my boy. Don't open it until Christmas Eve. Remember, the greatest gift is not in what you receive, but in the love and kindness you give." Lucas hesitated, but eventually accepted the gift. "Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas." The old man nodded and continued on his way, disappearing into the snowy landscape. Lucas and Bruno returned home, curious about the mysterious gift, but determined to follow the man's instructions. A village united by need. Back at the cottage, Lucas recounted the story to Elena, who smiled at her son's kindness. But their conversation was interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Mr. Gregory, a carpenter from the village, with his daughter Clara. Clara was Lucas's age, her bright eyes shining even in the dim light of their home. "Mrs. Elena," Mr. Gregory began, "Clara and I are delivering firewood to families in need. It's not much, but we wanted to share what we have." Elena's eyes welled up with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Gregory. You have no idea how much this means to us." Clara, noticing the mysterious gift on the table, asked, "What's that, Lucas?" Lucas explained, and Clara's curiosity mirrored his own. "Maybe it's a magical gift," she mused. "Something to make this Christmas special." Bruno barked in agreement, wagging his tail as if he understood the conversation. A new journey and new friends. On Christmas Eve, Lucas, Bruno, Clara, and Mr. Gregory set out to deliver food and firewood to other families in the village. Despite their own hardships, they found joy in seeing others smile. Clara carried a small lantern, her laughter ringing like bells in the crisp night air, while Bruno trotted alongside, seeming to guide them to homes most in need. At one point, Bruno stopped suddenly, his nose sniffing the air. He barked and ran ahead, leading them to a small cabin at the edge of the forest. Inside was a young woman named Mary, who had been living alone since her husband left to find work in the city. Mary's eyes widened when she saw the group. "I didn't think anyone would come out this far," she said, tears glistening in her eyes. "You've brought Christmas to me." The group shared what they had, and for the first time in weeks, Mary smiled. It was a moment of connection, a reminder that even in the darkest times, kindness could light the way. The revelation on Christmas morning. That night, back in their cottage, Lucas stared at the small gift from the old man. Midnight struck, and he carefully unwrapped the box. Inside was a letter and a small golden star. The letter read, "Dear Lucas, your kindness has sparked a chain of love that now lights your village." The star is a reminder that even the smallest act of generosity can shine brightly in the darkest night. Share it with those who need hope, and you will find that Christmas magic is real, not in things, but in the love you give and receive. Lucas felt a lump in his throat. He showed the star to his mother, Clara, and Mr. Gregory. They decided to place it atop the village Christmas tree, a simple yet powerful symbol of unity and love. A Christmas of miracles. The next morning, the villagers gathered around the tree, marveling at the golden star. Lucas and Bruno stood proudly with Clara and Mary. For the first time in years, the village felt like one big family, united by kindness and shared joy. Lucas looked at his mother, who smiled with tears in her eyes. He realized that Christmas was not about the gifts they didn't have, but about the love and connections they shared. Bruno barked happily, wagging his tail as if he, too, understood the magic of the moment, the gift that keeps giving. Years later, Lucas would remember that Christmas as the one that changed his life. He grew up to be a kind and generous man, always remembering the lesson taught by the mysterious old man. Bruno, Clara, and the villagers remained part of his story, a story of love, compassion, and the magic of giving. And every Christmas, the star would shine brightly atop the village tree, reminding everyone that the true spirit of the season lives in the heart.